Not love, just curiosity. You can't start loving overnight. And you can be curious. If you become curious, you will know them more. And you will know them more in their real terms, not in your projections onto them. And as you get to know them as real people, they will become less threatening. And if they are not, then you know who you can't work with. But it will become real rather than one massive projection. Imagine you go today, and when somebody sits down and they're new, you approach them with curiosity. I come to you. We've never met. I have no idea where you are. Doesn't matter. And I just say, somebody recommended, because that's probably how I got to you. And you meet me with curiosity. What would that sound like? Meaning, I have the same trepidation or the same curiosity. Maybe I even have a little bit of anxiety. I may be one of those who doesn't like to go to a hairdresser and fears it. I happen to be a hairdresser's dream, me personally, because I sit down and if I trust you, I just say, let yourself go. Change me.
That is a dream.
I've always thought I'm a hairdresser's dream because if I pick you, what I want is for you to just take me, go do something. Let you be creative, be in the mood, be in the zone. But there are people who that's not their experience, okay? So I'm no less scared than you are. But when you meet me, you think only you are scared. You don't have a clue that I may be worried, or that I'm nervous, or that I once had a bad experience, or that I have so much hope because I don't feel good about me, that you would make me feel better about me because you're going to beautify me. I mean, I too come with the whole story to you. And you say, we are new to each other. What's it like for you when you meet a new hairdresser or stylist? You ask that question to the person. That's a curiosity question. What have been some of the cuts you've really liked? What's it like when you pick someone new? Do you want to guide me? Do you want me to, do you have any idea of what you want? In a way, the 2-minute conversation between what do you want, do you know, can you express what you want, can you articulate it? It is one of the most beautiful rituals of consent. In 2 minutes, we are establishing an entire contract between strangers at that moment.
I think I'm good with the consultations because I do really care that they are comfortable, and I'm good at helping them come to a conclusion. But I think where it really goes wrong for me is I think that people aren't gonna like it.
And I'm suggesting something to you. Listen to me carefully, because you're talking about you. And I am trying to move the needle over to them. To really be curious about them, not to project on them. They don't exist in real terms, these people. They just exist as figments of your frightening imagination. Even now you answered me with, here I'm good and here I'm bad. I'm not talking about you. You're good. You're good, you wouldn't be there. You don't feel it, you don't know it, and it's about to be lost any second. But that's fear. I want you to be actually curious about the person sitting and giving herself over to your magical hands. And I want you to think about that person, not about what she's going to do to you, if she's going to affirm you or destroy you, but about who she or he is at the level that is necessary. It's curiosity that will ground you in reality. It's reality testing, and will slowly allow you to not only live from the place of fear and see these people as what they do to you rather than what you have with each other.
Mm-hmm.
Can you imagine this? Yes, take a deep breath.
I feel
Take another
so
one.
much anxiety from thinking about all this. I have like a headache.
Then stay with the breath for a moment.
Yeah.
Just stay with the breath.
I
Don't talk.
okay.
Don't talk. I just said a lot that to take in. I'm gonna breathe with you. They are vulnerable too.
Mm-hmm.
That's the piece that it. If you see them as so frightening, and I get where it's from, and you have a therapist, so I am taking it a little bit to a different place. Is that it's just even to think they're vulnerable too. We have no idea what they left at home before they finally managed to get that chair. And sometimes the minute you put your hands in their hair, they start talking. They confide in you. You know, I always think it's either this couch, the bar stool, or the hairstylist chair. That's where the stories get told.
But what about the people that just like aren't nice? Like, can we? Because there's a lot of them, and they sit down, and the first thing they say is, "How long is this going to take? Because I need to leave in like 25 minutes," and it's already something that would be ridiculous to think that it would take that long. And then, because it would be longer, 45, and then as soon as you start working, they tell you they don't like that, and then they say, "Where did you work before this?" And they just put you on like the juror stand or whatever, the witness stand, and they literally want to make you feel bad. Because let's not act like these people are not alive and well, and you deal with them, I mean, often. It's not every day necessarily, but you know.
Play that one with me.
What?
Go ahead first.
Yeah, no, I mean, I was gonna say, like, it's helped me to see that when there is a difficult client, it's not a unique experience personal to me.
Mm-hmm.
That it happens to everybody. So I, including like my boss, who again is like a world-renowned person in the industry, and to see that she has unhappy clients too, and this one has a redo too, and this one has the and that it doesn't break them. And I also watch how other people handle it, and it just takes it off of me as like, oh, this thing that's happening to me because I suck, because I'm not good enough, and all this pressure.
Beautiful.
And that has helped me navigate a difficult client, because inevitably everybody has one.
Mm-hmm.
And
Is
then
that
you just
useful?
Yeah, it's useful. And I mean, I know logically and from experience, the more calm you are and just like easygoing, then you kind of can like diffuse it. If you're defensive, it just makes it worse. But I think like,
Interestingly, though, we talked about clients, and you went directly to but what about the mean ones?
mm-hmm.
They're not the majority,
No,
but they're the ones you want to hone in on.
I'm just,
I'm happy to help you with that, by the way. But it's like part of what will change your experience of the world is that you resist going to those as the first ones and as the only ones that matter, like the 1 in 10 that you just spoke about
Right.
before.
right.
Can you imagine that the one that sits in the chair and says, I only have 20 minutes, isn't only being mean, but may be in the midst of a big problem themselves.
Mm-hmm.
And curiosity would say, are you having a tough day?
Mm-hmm.
Or is coming to the hairdresser not something you particularly enjoy, but you feel you have to?
Mm.
Or it's not easy for you when you put yourself in the hands of someone you've never met. Is that why you're asking me where I've worked before?
Mm.
Meaning you make the statement reflective of them. They're actually giving you a lot of information about who they are, not about who you are only.
Mm-hmm.
It's a boundary. There's no love in this, by the way. You don't have to love them one bit, but it makes it not instantly become about you and flooding you. This is a boundary technique. What is this person saying about them right now when they said just this? Give me 5 more of these sentences.
They're just saying, like, I don't fully trust you,
Mm-hmm.
and I have stuff to do,
Mm-hmm.
and, like, are you going to be able to execute what I need in a timely fashion?
Mm-hmm. So what would an answer be that makes this not enter into your belly or choke your throat? Where do you feel it in your body?
For me, a lot, it's like head.
Head.
Yeah,
That's
I
the
get like
headache you get,
headaches.
yes.
Like I have one right now.
Right.
I don't like to think about this stuff. Like when I'm not at work, I like to do like whatever I can to just like move into another space. Like I like to avoid, because sometimes talking about it makes it like almost worse for me.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Yes. Mm-hmm. That's what I used to do when I didn't like pay a lot of my bills. Is I just completely acted like they were not there. That made me like better to just like have fun and like, cause I guess, yeah, like I just want to have fun all the time. Like I don't like to, I know that's not realistic, but,
No, but I hear you say this can get so painful that my head is splitting.
mm-hmm.
And
Of course,
I'll
like nervousness in the stomach.
I'll do anything not to have that splitting headache. And so I'll check out. I'll dissociate, I'll check out, I'll go do other things just so, which you call fun, just so I'm not in that space.
Mm-hmm.
I get it. I'm also adding another piece to your repertoire
Mm-hmm.
when you are at work, because it does happen.
Mm-hmm.
That allows you to leave the stuff that comes out of their head in their head and not become part of the stuff that overwhelms you and floods you in yours. That was a nice breath you just took.
I have to take like multiple deep breaths
Yes.
every day, like 100
Yes,
times.
everybody,
Like-
everybody does. Yes, good idea.
Yeah.
Yeah. You know, one of the ways you can be curious is actually by asking them questions.
Mhm.
If you ask them questions, you don't have to answer.
Mhm.
Is this a particular stressful day for you?
It's true.
Huh?
It's so true. That's when I was able to make that switch off of myself and onto them, it totally alleviated a lot of that pressure. Like what you said, like the curiosity.
Mhm.
Like, oh, oh, where are you going? You have to be, what time do you have to be out? Like when they're all like, I gotta get out of here. Oh, what do you have going on? Just lighten it. I just try to lighten it, realizing that they're anxious. How can I alleviate their anxiety? This way it's about them and not me.
Mhm. That's good.
Well said.
Sad.
Very well said.
Yeah, it helps. Definitely.
Yeah, because usually I don't ask them if they're like, I have to be out of here really fast. I don't ask them. I've never say like, okay, like what are you up to for the rest of the day? I'm just like, I take it as a rejection. And so I just say, okay, I'll be as quick as I can. And then I like don't want to talk to them for the rest of the time. Like I really retreat inward.
And when you take it as a rejection, it's again what they're doing to you
Uh-huh.
rather than what they may be feeling at that moment, what state they're in. Meaning something is happening to them too. And the more you can be curious about that, the more it will stay with them and the less of a headache you're going to get. And then you let us know. I'm going to go back to the question I asked earlier when I said, because I said, what brings you? How would this be productive? And how can I help you? So I'm going to go back to the third one. Did you come with your own questions as well? Because I've asked you so many till now.
Let me see. I mean, I feel like I got so much just now.
Say it. What is it that you got? Put it in your own words.
Yeah, just a lot more understanding of, you know, how, like, why I am the way I am in the workplace, and like just ways to or just to kind of, I guess, to have some of that validated, like my experience, why I've experienced things the way I have in the workplace. You know, knowing that a lot of it stems from like childhood injuries that play out, whether it's with a client or an employer, and then just and why I have such big feelings. Like I think that's always been my struggle, that in spite of success, in spite of like various accolades, you know, making a very good living, it never seems to like make me feel better. And you know, I'm seeing now that that's starting to shift as I become more like, I have like a healthier adult living in me now. That's just not having these childhood responses like all over the place. So, it just feels good to kind of have that be validated as true, because that's what I feel like I'm starting to experience after many years. So.
And did you come with any question? Or any wish?
I think my wish is to, you know, that this would be helpful to other people who might experience something similar. Because I know while I was going through that, even people within my own support community did not fully understand. They're like, what do you mean? She's successful, she makes money, she has this and this, we don't really know what's wrong with you, but I'm having panic and terror, and I'm losing sleep, and I can't focus, like I'm not functioning. And it was very bewildering and very frightening at the time. So, and it was very hidden, like nobody would know to look at me. You just would not think that, because I could put it on. You know, I think hairdressers are also performers. You know, you have to be on, and you just turn that thing on. But privately, it was like there was a lot of chaos. And so I guess that would just, you know, if that's in any way helpful, I don't know if that's like a typical experience, but if that could be helpful to somebody else who has these kind of private struggles that they maybe don't talk about.
That's why you brought her.
That is why I brought her.
That's so loving.
Yeah, I love her.
Oh, I love you.
So, you know, and of course I am familiar with your wisdom, and just wanted to
How
hear.
would you like me to help her?
I guess to help her.
Because what I've said, you summarized so beautifully that I knew it wasn't new to you.
Yeah, I think I guess, my hope is always for her to also have that scared kid part of her healed, so it doesn't keep playing out in her work experiences, because I think she experiences herself differently than other people do.
People really like me almost everywhere I go, but I don't see it. And
You see it, you know it, but you don't feel it.
yeah, I just have so much fear. And one of the differences between us is she makes 3 times the amount of money as I do. And I'm just so over struggling, I just want to be able to take care of myself.
Well, until for her to not, because that's the thing, this will all start happening for you, all these feelings, and then you'll leave a job.
Yeah, I can't. I do that to all my boyfriends too.
That's the answer.
They don't want every guy I've really went out with. I mean, I've been single now for a while, just working on these issues, and I think that getting a full-time job is such a right step in the direction of getting the right relationship, because it's if I can show commitment in this one area, then it's going to reflect other areas. But yeah, when something's uncomfortable, I really can't stand it. I have to get away. And even I think 2 times I've worked at my job for just a little over a month, and the 3rd day I worked there, I was I cannot do this. I can't touch these people all day. I have to I can't do this. And I mean, I just used support from Lori and some other people, and I just went back to work the next day. But
Beautiful.
Yeah.
And we're going to make a commitment. You're going to make a commitment. A year?
of what?
Look at that.
Of staying at the job?
Is that blasphemy?
No, I mean, I stayed at my last one for a year and a half, so.
But I wouldn't even just say staying at a job as in an endurance test. A year of having the job be that stable, so that you can go and use use and strengthen all the other tools that you are currently putting in place. Because you see, I imagine, or you maybe I won't imagine, let me ask you, was leaving one of the ways that you took care of yourself growing up?
Of course.
Right. So what happens is that we use some of the coping strategies that we developed growing up, and that were often adaptive because they literally helped us, and sometimes were life-saving. But then we use them, and we continue to use them because it's what we know, and because we interpret every situation as a reenactment of that. And part of what changes is that sometimes these things are no longer functional. They're familiar, they're what we go to first, but that doesn't mean they're functional. So the leaving, the I'm going to go have fun, the denial, I have no bills. It's like you don't just leave as in physically leaving. You literally disconnect from reality. That's the form of leaving.
Yeah,
as well.
my favorite thing to do.
Be it through the drinking, be it through the denial, it's like the commitment is not to this job. The commitment is to a different way of staying connected to reality. And reality of the here and now. That is a huge process. That doesn't demand much of moving. That demands micro attention. To constantly ground yourself in the here and now, so that you're not always going back. Grounding yourself in the here and now by being curious about the other people. Grounding yourself in the here and now by noticing how you instantly go for the negative, instantly go for what they do to you rather than who they are and maybe what's happening to them. Go into the I can't do it, I gotta get out of here, I gotta get out of here. That. And because one day at a time, it will be a good mantra for you, this one. The way that you get it in 12 steps. It is a one day at a time. But not only on the drinking, also on the, I got through that day. As she said to you so beautifully, you will not die. And one day, and another day, and another day, and reality will begin to look different. It won't be between these massive extremes. Then you can decide which job you want to go to and which is your career. You're massively talented. But this overarching feeling takes over, and so it won't matter where you are. You can change careers, but it won't really be different enough. You can change careers by changing your experience of the career itself as well. And you have people who adore you and who want to lead you and hold your hand because it gives meaning to what she went through. That's the concept of I want to be able to be of service. If it can help anybody else, that elevates what I went through. Then I'm just not just looking at my story and it sucked. There's nothing that makes us feel like what we went through was not just awful, more than the thought that it may actually be helpful to somebody else. Do you have other angels like her?
Yeah, I do. I mean, Lori is like a special person because the fact that we have been in the same career and we do come from like similar upbringings, there's just it's very, we were definitely meant to meet each other,
How did you meet?
I noticed her blonde hair in a meeting.
I mean, we even have similar hair,
I went up to her. Yeah. And then you were new. She was very new, and I was, I don't know.
So it's been a few years.
It's been, yeah.
That was almost 10 years ago.
Wow.
Yeah.
Beautiful.
So, I mean, yeah, I do have other angels in my life, and
You both live alone?
Yes, I do. And you're...
I might be living alone. I mean, I have my own apartment. It's a 2-bedroom, and it's funny because, like, I've been really working on, and Lori's actually was the person that initially helped me with this. It was 4 years ago exactly. But I've been really working on a lot of financial recovery, and it's like I'm doing great. I owed taxes yesterday. I just paid them out of pocket. It was not a drama. I did that. I did the rest of my day. I did that last year too. And my roommate is this young, out of control hairdresser, and she's moving back to Florida, but this one lady from recovery might rent my spare room like 1 week a month because she got a job in the Berkshires, and she just needs to come back to the city once a month, and she might rent it. But if she doesn't, I might just try to take the plunge and live by myself, because I really don't want someone else's. I just don't want it anymore. I'm 35. Like, how long is this going to go on? So I just keep being in reality with my income, though, and tallying up, what's really coming in and going out, so I can see if it's possible. And my parents are so proud of me for the, like, in recovery, we call it solvency, but they are so proud of me over even quitting drinking with, like, my solvency, because it was so incredibly unmanageable, that I texted them yesterday and I said, I just paid my taxes and this is how much it was. And I was like, because I had talked to my dad before, like, do you think I should do a payment plan or just pay it? And he said, well, I think it's up to you. You could just pay it and get it over with or whatever. And, but if you think you want to do the payment plan, that's okay too. And I just paid it out of pocket. But then this morning, they sent me $300.
Oh.
It's like
A gift.
Yeah, a gift for like being responsible. But that extra money might really help me be able to pay all my stuff like by myself this month, It's just a little extra. So I don't know. But yeah, of course Lori lives by herself. She's like a homeowner. She owns an apartment in New York City. It's like the biggest accomplishment.
You know what I just thought? If you have a chance, walk through Tompkins Square Park today
Mm-hmm.
and give $5 or $10 to someone who needs it there.
Okay.
Aw, that's sweet.
Because you too have a lot to give to people,
Mhm.
others, that so it becomes a chain.
Mm-hmm. I can do something like that.
If you could have a little note in your pocket that the grounded, responsible woman that you also are has written to the one who is constantly running to save herself.
Mm.
What would that note say?
It would just kind of say like,
I'm going to record it on my phone,
oh my
and then I
gosh.
will send it to you so that you can transcribe it and carry it with you.
Okay,
Note to self.
wait, you want me to just write like what my like whole and healthy self would say to my like scared running self?
For example,
Yeah, I would just.
actually, what the adult woman says to the child in her
Mhm.
that is often frightened and that learned some great techniques to manage in the world, which may not be so useful anymore.
Mhm. I would just say, that you, dear Haley, you are perfectly okay just how you are, and no one at work is going to hurt you, and you don't have to run away from everyone. You can go there and be there for other people, so you can be there for yourself, essentially, and that that all the anxiety like isn't even real. It's not real. It's that everything is actually okay, and
Beautiful. But imagine I am taking this piece of paper out at a moment when I'm really freaking out.
uh-huh,
You can't really reason with me in this moment.
uh-huh,
You tell me everything's going to be all right. I don't feel this right
uh-huh.
now.
I don't know what I should make it say.
Yeah, I would just say, dear Haley, like you are safe right now.
If what she says sounds right, repeat it in your own words. She's gonna be your double.
I would make it say something like, Haley, you're safe right now. Just love yourself and love others. Like that helps me, when I can just be kind, and kind of like, because my response is always so angry and frustrated. But if I just said, you're safe right now, everything's okay, just love yourself and love others.
Beautiful. Okay. Can we make sure that note is on you at all times?
Yeah, I'm gonna have to put a note in my phone to remember what I said, but I
I'm gonna
like
send it to you right now.
Sure.
What's your phone number?
646-593-3262.
593-3262.
Yeah.
Good. Note to self. Perfect.
Are you gonna have a note for your bag?
I know. I mean, I could.
Because
I mean, I like that one. It's like, yeah, I'm safe and it's all okay.
Which means you're not back in the past.
Right.
No, you're not at home. You're not the 12-year-old frightened. You're not figuring out what do I need to do to get dad's attention, to get mom, to be less terrifying because at any moment she will snap. It's all of that. It's you are safe now is you're not back in the vortex.
But I think for Lori, you are safe now and you're allowed to shine bright.
Oh, that's a good one.
Yeah, because like when you said that I started talking and she retreated back, I do think you have a tendency to not fully put yourself out there. And there's just like no reason for it. Or there's all the like historical reasons, but I think that you're safe and you deserve to be shining and being seen and like really just like showcase like your personality and who you are.
Thank you. Yeah, thank you. No, that's helpful.
Did you
It's
write
true.
that
I
down?
did. You were safe
Beautiful.
now.
That
and
was beautiful.
you're allowed to shine.
You know
your-
why? For a whole bunch of reasons, but because you were so clear and focused on her. You bring that focus to your clients,
Yeah.
and you will have a completely different internal life.
Okay.
And you tied it in with what happened like an hour ago. I mean, it was just so crystal. This is for you. This is about you.
Aw.
Yeah,
That
because I
makes me
feel
wanna
that way
cry.
about her. I know her really well too, and we have different personalities. Like we have a lot of the same things, but we have different like characteristics in our behavior. And if anything, I just always want more attention, but you like to divert attention a lot of times, And I think obviously like a balance, but yeah, I think that would be helpful. Like when you go on your trips to Mexico, like post them on your page. Don't just post it on the Snapchat. Like, like
Yeah.
people think that you rule. They do. They think like that you're successful, talented, you travel all around the world, and that's an inspiration to people because a lot of people don't they can't even, they may have had all the same jobs as you, but they can't even save their tips for one day from buying like cheap wine to like, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So I think like one of your things is like, if you can share yourself a little more, it actually like helps people, like just your life.
That's helpful. If I
Because-
could look at it that way, it makes it easier.
Say more.
Because if I feel like I'm just like showing off, that like that's what I imagine. I post something like a trip, and then people are like, "Oh, look at her fucking bragging," or you know. But that's because that was kind of where it was like that's how it was where I grew up. You would just get like, "Oh, who do you think you are?"
Because they're jealous.
And then, yeah. But if you say it like that, where it's like, "Oh, you do this, you post things because it's an inspiration," or
That's why
For
people
sure
have
yourself,
so many
you know.
followers on Instagram, because they post their life and it like inspires people to want to see it, you know?
But it's very interesting. What you've just said is, if I post and I say something about me, I'm uncomfortable.
right.
Because if you show yourself, you could get hurt. Who the hell do you think you are? But if I post something and it can inspire others, i.e., it can do good for others, I'm very happy doing so.
Yeah.
Doing for me is the harder thing.
That is
Or
historically been
doing,
harder.
I do for me when I do for others.
Right.
And that feels nicer.
Right.
Not as in nice, but it feels
Right.
more meaningful
Yeah.
and safer.
Yeah, there's a safety in that.
Yes, understandably so.
Yeah, I think
So
that-
the
that's a good
inspiration
one.
thing is a beautiful place to land.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Do you fight with people at work?
I mean, I definitely have, but not so far. Like, I mean, of course. Like,
But you're doing this job very differently.
I am,
She's like
because-
checking in every day. She's giving gratitude
I
lists.
just, when I started at my last job, it was like approaching 2 years ago, and it was like just a really different place in life, like totally different. And then right after I started that job, which I mostly got because of my ex-boyfriend, I ended up breaking up with him, and like I just was, I mean, it doesn't even look like the same life, but I guess what my tendency is, it's always the same. If I think I'm not getting taken care of, I start trying to dominate other people to make that happen. So like one of the things is like with the receptionist at the front desk, like if a client walks in and has a question, half the time they really don't do a good job. The way they deal with it is like, it's not good customer service. But like at this job, I'm just completely letting that go, not getting involved, you know. But in the past, I would say, you know, like, can you not do that? Because X, Y, and Z. And then they wouldn't like me, you know. But also at my last job, one thing I got in trouble for, this place was so dysfunctional that my tips were literally getting given to another girl that spells her name similarly to me. And when I finally had the wherewithal to speak up and solve this investigation, I actually got in trouble for speaking up. So that place was so dysfunctional, I can't even describe to you. But, and they were like bouncing the paychecks, and it was crazy. But like we did bang trims for free. And so I told the receptionist one day, like, they're like, can you do this bang trim? And I was like, how much is it? And they said, we don't charge for bang trims. And I was like, hell no, give that shit to somebody else. Like, I'm not working for free. And so then I got in a lot of trouble. I think I could have approached it differently. I could have helped them out in the moment and then gathered more information about why these services were free, because it's kind of absurd, you know? And, but I've gotten in trouble basically always for that. And then I've also had emotional entanglements with straight male hairdressers at like every salon I've worked at that has never ended like really well. But, there's no candidates for that at this place, but I wouldn't do it again anyway. I just learned my lesson with the last person. Nothing too terribly bad happened. But basically, I would go to work, and like at my last job, my coworker, Andrew, we just would flirt with each other all day and like cross all the boundaries emotionally. And I did a lot of this because I was like bored, you know? And then basically I realized I really kind of liked him, but I thought he was weird. And then I just realized that he was like so emotionally unavailable, you know? He just wanted to like come to work and get all the intimacy feels from me, but then he wasn't ever asking me like to hang out on a real date or anything like that. And so I started distancing myself, and then he like said some gross stuff to me sexually in front of other people. So I just like told him he was sick, and then I just never talked to him again, really. So yeah, I fight with people at work.
Yeah, but I feel like knowing her a long time, she's made so much, like even from that job to this one, like there was points where, you know, she's always going off to be a freelancer, and I think a lot of the times freelancers just have difficulty with people. That's my observation, because it's harder to be in a workplace where you have to have relationships. But I feel like you've really, like starting at that place, have gotten so much better, because she used to be able to not tolerate it at all, you know, and would like sabotage herself.
Oh yeah, I mean, going back like several years ago, if there was a problem, I was gonna like go off on someone, you know. I haven't done anything like that in a long time, I gotta be honest, but I think like...
Does anybody ever put the limit on you?
Barely. I mean, yeah, when I've gotten fired, but I haven't really...
Did your mom ever put a limit on you? Or your father? Or they just were absent?
It's the same thing. Like, kind of turn a blind eye until the limit, and like not communicate. And then when the limit is really pushed, like, you know, my parents would just go like to an extreme of punishment when we could have just talked about it a little along the way, you know? But at my last salon, like the whole thing with the tips, this guy was giving my tips to this girl on Thursdays, and I knew it was happening. And when I said something about it to him, he ended up just getting so defensive. And I was like, I just said, do I have any tips? He said no. I said, I saw my client leave tips, and he got really angry. You know, you want to come take an effing look and see for yourself? I did. They were there. I'm like, that says Haley. He's like, I thought it said Heidi. And I was like, I think this happens all the time. And I got into an argument with him. And anyway, I ended up getting in trouble for that. But that guy works there since the day it opened. But I don't know. Normally I would have like quit after something like that. And the next time I saw my boss, I was just like, hey, how's it going? It was so hard for me, but it was like one giant step for mankind type of vibes. Like, I just was like literally clenching my teeth in my brain. I was like, act normal, act normal, act normal. And because normally if there's a conflict, I have to leave. And that job, like,
and now when you have a conflict, you're going to take out your little piece of paper. And you're going to take out your little piece of paper.
Right. Yeah.
And on occasion, if you reach out to her, she'll read you your piece of paper
Okay.
when you're too rattled to even take it out. And you'll keep it small. It won't become a whole questioning about what I'm doing, what profession do I want to be in. You know, it's just this one interaction in the moment that needs to be resolved, not a big existential follow-up.
All right.
Every small situation becomes a massive existential crisis. That's the first piece of, not the first, but that would be part of the initial small changes. It's about one thing. It's not about everything. Your whole life is not at risk. And that's why you're safe. Anything else you want to ask me?
I think I'm good. I feel good. Just thank you so much.
Are you still having a headache?
Not really. But I feel like a lot of emotions were brought through my body. So, I mean, I might, I need to walk it off or something after.
Can you sit with your feet on the ground for a second?
It's hard for me to do that.
To put your feet on the ground?
Yeah, it's hard for me to sit like that.
Actually, just sit like this.
Okay.
You know? And just take a few deep breaths, top to bottom. And make room. And make room inside your body just to feel it. Because fear contracts us. It contracts your mind, it contracts your shoulders, your gut, it contracts. It makes it feel like it's tense, it's tight. There's nothing new that can come in. So just a big breath. And visualize the spot in between your eyes. And for you, it's your throat. And just breathe into that. You have a beautiful friendship and mentorship. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you so much for having us.
Pleasure.
All right. Have a nice day. Oh, just unclip?
They're going to be there in a moment.
Okay.
They'll unclip us.
Okay. Actually, if you know what, one thought. I know you're done.
No, well, we can take a few minutes.
If there is there like an action I can take that could help with this visibility thing? Like when I have thoughts of like I'm going to get attacked if I'm visible. Is there any like? Well, I have the note.
But you can the note you give to her is good as well. You know, it is.
Yeah.
I mean, it's a very interesting thing because you are working with high visibility clients, and in some way, it allows you to hide behind them.
I know. Yeah.
And the more famous they are, and the more in the background you can be, and so they can get attacked. They probably are on occasion. They're in the public eye, so they get their share of criticism. Do you ever bring people into your home?
You know, not that much. She's coming over next week. It's funny. I actually don't have a lot of people in my home. I mean, I feel like I'm not home a lot, but I think there's a little something there.
So that's one thing. Is
Okay.
small, simple. You invite a few people over.
That's a good one.
Because inviting people into your home is inviting them to see you and to bring them into your turf and to make that safe place, that cocoon that you have created, welcoming to others.
Okay.
That's a way of
good
putting
one.
yourself out. It doesn't all need to happen at work.
Right.
You understand?
Okay. Yeah, no, that's good.
If you like to be inspiring to people, take that role on with more oomph. Send her a note, send the other people a note,
Right.
a few times. Organize a little group that you lead
Over that.
of a few people in your field that you know need the kind of mentorship that you can offer. And it's not mentorship about the latest techniques of coloring.
Right. Yeah, because it would be more this other
Yeah.
type of stuff.
So once a week, once a month, 6 of you meet and
Okay.
you lead it.
Okay.
Switch the fear. See, your focus is on the fear of visibility. I say take a position of leadership. Because leadership has visibility, but it is meant to also inspire others. So it will bring together your strengths with your values.
Thank you. Yeah, no, it sounds good. I could work on these.
It's because I could say I want you to send a picture or a message about how you're doing to your little group here, but then it lacks the what does it do for them?
Right.
It just puts me in the front,
Right.
and that is too much of the my face shines, my face gets snapped.
Right.
So
Right. Yeah.
use the back door. The back door is that I have way less fear when I'm when I'm taking a leadership position, rather than when I'm taking I want to shine position. But they accomplish. When you are a leader, you shine. It's just that it's not the goal. It's a
Right.
part of it.
Right.
And then it feels less selfish and less frightening and less exposed.
Yeah.
I don't know that you are as
Exposed is a good
afraid to
word.
be seen as you are afraid to be exposed.
Yeah. I think that's more that.
Make sense?
Yeah, I mean, like,
Add some, because I'm sure you have great ideas right now.
well, I mean, I struggle with that sometimes too. Like, just, but I think, like, everyone that I look at that's really successful, even like your Instagram account, like, what you're doing is like you're being your most authentic self. It's the authenticity, like, that it's hard to like really show who you are, but it's the only thing that works. It's like, I mean, I think about that with like Madonna, because she reinvented herself like so many times, and I was like, that's what I'm doing right now, because but
You're very Madonna.
it's like, yeah, I just think that also the only way to get over it's Instagram is just like it's everything and then it's nothing, right? Like, you don't really, you need it but you don't, whatever. I don't the only way to get through the fear is by just doing it. It's like the only way for me to get through the fear of like my intimacy issues at work is going to work.
Like you something,
That's good.
as you just made me think. I'm going to give you 7 verbs. You can write them down.
Okay.
6, 7, 8. We shall see how many come. Okay? They are to me basic relationship verbs. They're like the basic grammar. The same way as when you learn a new language, you need the basic verbs with which you can begin to talk.
Right.
And they're not in particular order.
Okay.
But when I think about the key relationship verbs, I think about to ask, to give, to take, to receive, to want, to share, to imagine, which can be to play or to dream, and to refuse. So if you look at this list, and just very quickly, which verb is it that you feel you would like to stretch most, to develop more?
It's interesting. It's kind of to give was the first one, and then to receive was like very close second.
Meaning you would like to learn to give? You would like to feel better at giving?
Yeah, or maybe give in bigger ways or something.
Say more.
Well, I think I'm just somebody, like, I think with my own intimacy limitations, I'm kind of like a loner, like in a sense, even though I have this very social job, but I'm very, like, within my, what's the word? Like a little introverted. But I feel like I have a lot to offer and to share.
And you have close friends?
I do. Yeah, I'm really good on the one-on-one. You know, so, I mean, romantically, I think I would like to expand that area. But then even within my industry, yeah, like maybe on a broader level with like helping hairdressers, that's...
So we translated to give as in to lead.
Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah.
Nice. Interesting choice. To giving for you is taking a stance. Being a leader. And the receiving is letting other people give to me and allow myself to be seen. I totally agree.
Good.
So you take those 2 verbs with you.
Okay.
You brainstorm with her
Okay.
and whoever else, even at your little dinner.
Yes.
I met that woman. And she suggested. So I just thought I would try this out with you girls or guys. And what do you think? You all know me. I need your input.
Cool. Okay.
How do you see me? How do you see me expand my ability to give? To take on a more prominent leadership role? And how do you see ways that I struggle with receiving or I could receive better? And voilà, that's your dinner conversation.
Okay.
No chit-chat about the shop.
Right.
We're not having dinner in order to talk about the salon. And do me a favor, write me what happened.
Okay.
I like to know.
Okay.
You too.
Do we have your
Thank
email,
you.
or do we just?
It's Esther Perel, ESTHER, PEREL @me.com. I like to know where the seeds I throw, where they land.
At me.com.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Thank you so much.
You're welcome.
Yeah, it's such a gift.
And
Really.
you can play with that list of verbs and ask everybody around you.
Okay. Yeah, no, this is great.
And you can add a couple as well. You know, it's not
All right.
it's just a total spontaneous list. Which ones would you pick, by the way?
Can I see your list so I can? look at
Yeah.
them? Wait, what is it that I want?
The one that you feel you would like to develop more, to muscle up, to strengthen, to bolster.
I think to share and maybe to share and maybe to ask. I don't know. Yeah, because I don't like to ask for help. I like suffer in silence. I mean, I've gotten better, but I'm just so like, I'm a Leo. Like, I just don't.
What's your date?
July 29th. So, you know, to ask, and also like in my next romantic relationship, like that's an area where I have a hard time like asking, you know? But to share also, I mean, I would just love to share more of my, of like who I am. I feel like there's a lot of things I could do. And I mean, really, like I want to have a podcast again. You know, I used to have one, but it was just on such a different topic. But it was one of the funnest things I've ever done. And I stopped doing that a lot because my ex-boyfriend, you know, and he was jealous of all the rad jobs that I had that he didn't. And I just like stopped doing all my cool stuff to make him feel better and whatever. But I would like to share more. I mean, ultimately, if I had my wish, like my vision, I like to help other people a lot. And I, you know, like when I do help people with the dating stuff, it's so fun for me. And I get to use my beauty skills without actually having to like touch them and everything. And just kind of guiding them. But I would like to share more. Like I wrote this really cool story and I wanted to submit it to Modern Love, but I never did. And, you know, I just procrastinate on certain things. But to be fair, I've been in a big transition working full time because I haven't in so long. And when I freelanced, like I was able to get more done. And then eventually you actually don't. But I'd like to share more myself. Like there's people I could be sharing more, you know, because I've overcame, it's kind of a miracle. I'm from a small town in Florida, you know, with a mom that didn't really work, a dad that worked like blue collar, same job. And I've been able to do, I feel like I literally manifested playing music for Michael Imperioli because I like loved him so much, and then that happened, and I just want to share more. When I was like DJing all the time, I did like all vinyl and really niche like music, 70s stuff and like 80s stuff, but the amount of skill I had was like incredible. And then people but I didn't make it as far as I could have. I don't share enough. I think I share a little more than you, but consistency is so hard for me that I like pull back, switch gears, and change my whole path. So I guess for me, it's like sharing, but consistently.
sharing,
And
shining,
asking.
and consistency.
Mm-hmm.
Asking, sharing, shining consistently.
Mm-hmm.
That you can write down.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, we can
We can be action
be
partners.
accountability partners.
Wait 1 second. Okay, it's asking, sharing, shining
With consistency.
with consistency. Right. Got it.
Beautiful.
Yay.
All right.
That's exactly 12. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much.
A pleasure.
Oh, yeah, they'll
Yes.
unwind.
Thank you.